Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. Let us start with the Mangalacharan prayers. I will share the screen. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya
ज्ञानाञ्जन शलाकया
Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutah Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। Okay, I will share the screen for the invocation verses. So this is our wonderful Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadeva Goswami. We will discuss about them quite a bit today. So we are going to discuss the 4th chapter of Canto 1 and another picture. And also we will discuss about Srila Sūta Goswami and Saunaka Rishis. So many rishis are sitting there, and Sūta Goswami is speaking or retelling the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is what is happening here. So please, if possible, you can repeat after me by unmuting. And if not possible, that is okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskrityam
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya
Nandagopakumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Okay, very nice. Now, we also will recite the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I will share my screen again. Please try to repeat after me. We already recited Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadyasya yatonvayaditaratas chartheshvabhigyah swarat. Tene brahma hridayadi kavaye muhyanti yat suraya.
Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muhyanti Yat Suraya
Tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha.
Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha
Dhamna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi.
Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhukam Satyam Param Dhimahi.
Right, very nice. Thank you. So, we will start the discussion. I need to open this 1 second. Just 1 second. Sorry, 1 second, huh? Okay. So, oh, sorry. All right. Here we are. So we are going to start from chapter 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam. And chapter 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam tells us about the appearance of Srimad Bhagavatam, how the Srimad Bhagavatam appeared in this world. I need 1 more minute.
Prabhuji, this is chapter 4 of Canto 1, right? Or is it prior to the cantos?
There is nothing prior to the cantos.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. There is something called, in some of the versions, you will find something called Srimad Bhagavat Mahatmya. But we are not going through that. So this is, Canto 1 is the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay. So, are you able to see the screen here?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4. It is titled as The Appearance of Sri Narad Muni. And another or the most important part of this chapter is the inspiration that Krishna Dvaipayana Veda Vyasa Maharshi, the one who composed the Srimad Bhagavatam, how he got the inspiration to write the Srimad Bhagavatam. And what it will describe, one of the main essence that it will describe is the utter dissatisfaction of Veda Vyasa Muni from composing all the other literatures. And Sridhar Swami writes that the two main aspects of all the Vedas were tapasya and prachar, which means dissemination of spiritual knowledge to others. So he did a lot of dissemination of spiritual knowledge to others. So we will see this. Now, this may be tapasya. Probably we all understand why that is causing dissatisfaction. For everybody who is attending here, we all understand the position of Bhakti Yoga compared to Jnana Yoga and Dhyana Yoga, etc. Or Tapa or Ashtanga Yoga, or attaining various other processes. But Prachar and Prachar, or what is, he also calls it as, not he also, he calls it as Pravachana, which means also the same thing. Pravachan, speaking these things to other people for their benefit. So the essence that will be captured here is that above all of these is bhakti. And that too, bhakti, which is solely for the purpose of the self, for progress of your own self. So self-absorption in Krishna Bhakti. So this is going to be the focus of Srimad Bhagavatam. How to absorb the self into bhakti without a whole sort of a, big organization or a huge group, etc., etc. Maybe with a small group, that is okay, but not like, hundreds of people, thousands of people, etc. So personal absorption into Srimad Bhagavatam is going to be the focus, or it will be shown here in this chapter how important that is. We will cover it over 2 or 3 discussions. Today, we might not be able to get there, but that's where we want to go. Okay, so let us start. So today's goal is to cover verse numbers. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 1.4.1 to 1.4.13. So total of 13 verses. And these 13 verses are questions mainly by Saunaka Rishi. Saunaka Adi, we can say, but mainly Saunaka Rishi or only Saunaka Rishi. And very soon we will see he is the spokesperson. He is the one who is going to ask the questions to Sūta Goswami on the behalf of so many others who are sitting there and listening. Okay. So now one question that may come up, there were 88,000 rishis sitting and listening over there. Now, one can ask, okay, that's a very big group. But here we just said that it is not meant for a large group. The point is, whoever is willing can come and sit and listen. One doesn't, personal absorption means one is personally absorbed. So each one was personally absorbed in the Srimad Bhagavatam as if the others were not present. Okay, so the mood is that of personal absorption. It's not a sort of a big group activity. Okay, and there is also no attempt on the part of either Shukadeva Goswami or Sūta Goswami to go and gather people. That unless we have 500 people, we won't start. Or the more, the better. Whoever wants can come and sit. Whoever doesn't feel like it can get up and go. Whoever wants, whoever is feeling or getting the relishment, getting the taste, they are welcome to continue. So there is no binding and there is no rule that we should have minimum so much people or anything like that. The numbers really do not matter. So from that standpoint, the Srimad Bhagavatam is being spoken. Okay, so with that background, let us go into the verses one by one, and hopefully we will cover 13 verses today and we will relish those. All right. So the first text number 1. So let me see my notes here. Yeah. So in the first verse, so we may not go through all of the Sanskrit recitations, just a few of them we will go through. So we will go mainly with the translations. And I will request one devotee each to read the translation, mainly those who are with camera on, so that I can, just because I can see. On my side, the setting I have is only I see the sort of camera on boxes. Other black boxes, I'm only seeing as a list. So Ramakant Prabhu, you are the first on my end in the boxes. Could you please read the translation? You are muted. I think you all can unmute yourself. I mean, you have the permission to unmute. You are not forcibly muted. I cannot unmute him. All I can do is to give him permission to unmute. Otherwise, I can unmute anybody and start listening to their conversations. That's not allowed by Zoom.
So may I start?
Yes.
Yes. So Vasudeva said, on hearing Sūta Goswami speak thus, Saunak Muni, who was the elderly, learned leader of all the rishis engaged in that prolonged sacrificial ceremony, congratulated Sūta Goswami by addressing him as follows.
Very, very nice. So 2 points I want to make here. 1 point I had already made in one of the previous classes. Vyasadeva said. So as you can see here, what is the meaning of Vyasadeva said? So Sūta Goswami is on hearing Sūta Goswami speak thus. So Sūta Goswami has been telling the Srimad Bhagavatam. The previous chapter ended with the very famous verse, Ete cha amsha kalah pumsha krishnastu bhagavan swayam. And then later on, the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sūta Goswami was speaking those verses to the rishis. So Veda Vyasa or Vyasa Uvacha. And here it is to be understood that there are various retellings of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Obviously, the first one occurred by Vyasadeva, who gave it to Sukadeva Goswami. We will cover that also hopefully today. Then Shukadeva Goswami gave it to Parīkṣit Maharaj. As he was giving it to Parikshit Maharaj, Sūta Goswami was sitting in the assembly. He got it. And then he is giving it now to the Saunaka Rishis. And that is the version which is being recorded by Maharshi Veda Vyasa. So Veda Vyasa Maharshi is recording the version that was being given by Sūta Goswami to the Saunaka Rishis. So there is clear documentation of that. Veda Vyasa said on hearing Sūta Goswami. So he is documented. So what we have, the Srimad Bhagavatam in our hands, is that particular retelling of Srimad Bhagavatam as told by Sūta Goswami to the Saunaka Rishis. So that is point number one. And then point number two that I wanted to mention in this particular verse is that there are three reasons given by various acaryas who have written the commentaries. And in this whole series, we are going through 4 commentaries of the acaryas. Of course, Srila Prabhupada. Then, before that comes Srila Vishvanatha Chakravarthy Thakura. Before that comes Srila Jiva Goswami. And before that comes Srila Sridhar Swami. So these are the 4 commentaries which are being referred to here. And they are the main commentators on the Srimad Bhagavatam that we know about, on the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. On the 10th canto, there are many more, many more, because 10th canto is the cream of the cream, and many other acharyas have done commentaries on that, at least from a Gaudiya Vaishnava standpoint, and as much as I know. Okay. So the second point that is being brought out is that there are 3 reasons why Saunaka Rishi is being given the person of sort of the head spokesman. And these 3 reasons are given here: Vriddha, Kulapati, and Bahuricha, which is known as Bahavricha. So Vriddha means he is oldest in age. And then Kulapati, there are 2 meanings given. One meaning by Sridhar Swami and Srila Prabhupada, and one meaning by Sri Vishvanatha Chakravarthy Thakura. So we can see here that there are multiple meanings of the words that can be given, and we accept all of them. You will not see any kind of misalignment between them, but there can be different understandings. So the meaning of Kulapati could mean as the head of the, or leader, we can say, of the group. And Sri Vishwanath Chakravarthy Thakur says that it means that of a superior family lineage. So he had both. He had a very superior, very wonderful lineage of his family, Saunak Rishi, and he was the sort of the leader of the, among all the rishis there. And Bahurich. So Bahurich, this means that learned in the Vedas. So very learned in the Vedic Shastra. So such a person is appointed to ask questions, because such a person can ask questions which will ultimately benefit everyone on top of what is already known. So there are various times, or many times, when something which is very obvious or which is very clearly explained elsewhere, and we expect those kind of questions which are gaps, which are not clear from the previous writings. And those are the best kind of questions, because the expectation is that you would have understood those basic foundational aspects, and you ask the actual clarifications or the doubts which are not clarified by the previous Shastras. So from that angle, he was the most learned in the Vedas, and he is the best person, best positioned to ask the questions. So these are some of the various points in the first text that I have gathered in my notes, in my reading. So that's what I'm sharing here with everybody. So the purpose of this series is for me to share, and for those of you who are reading from various commentaries, any relevant points that you may have think I have missed, you are also welcome to share those. Okay, now we go to text number 2. So let us see. We will read the translation of the second verse, and then Makarand Prabhu, kindly go ahead.
Saunak said, O Sūta Goswami, you are the most fortunate and respected of all those who can speak and recite. Please relate the pious message of Srimad Bhagavatam, which was spoken by the great and powerful sage Sukadeva Goswami.
Very nice. Thank you. So just for the pleasure or for the relishment, I will recite the verse, or I will try to recite. Sūta Sūta Mahābhāga Vadano Vadatam Vara Katham Bhagavatim Punyam Yad Aha Bhagavan Shukah. So first thing to notice here is Bhagavan Shukah. So Sūta Goswami, or not Sūta Goswami, Saunak Adi Rishis are asking. So you can see here, Saunaka Uvacha. So from text number 2 to 13, which what we hope to cover today, total 13 verses. So these are now 12 remaining verses are spoken by Saunaka Uvacha. You will not see any more Uvacha till number 14. At 14th verse, you will see Sūta Uvacha. So he starts talking, or he starts speaking. So this whole section from 2 to 13 is Saunaka Uvacha. So Saunak Rishi is calling Shukaha, Bhagavan Shukaha, as Shukadeva Goswami as Bhagavan. So he's putting Sukadeva Goswami. So here in this whole section, we will see some aspects of the greatness of Sukadeva Goswami. So first point that will come up is the greatness. What happened? Of Sukadeva Goswami. And we will see his exalted position. And the next section within this 12 verses, we will see the greatness of Parikshit Maharaj. So, great speaker or great teacher and great student. That is when great subject matters emerge. Okay, when there is a proper teacher and a proper student, the whole world benefits from such a discussion. Just like Krishna Arjuna Samvad, which is Bhagavad Gita. So that is point number 1. Saunaka Rishi is addressing Sukadeva Goswami as Bhagavan. And then the second point is to notice is the excitement of Saunak Rishi. So here he says, Sūta Sūta Mahābhāga. So, oh my Sūta, double 2 times when he's saying Sūta, 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 like, he's very excited, he's overjoyed. So when you meet somebody who you really have been waiting to meet for a long time, and you are really looking forward to having a very nice time with him, you call out his name twice. One of the things that you could do. So that is the point that is being brought out. And Katham Bhagavatim Punyam, please tell us this topmost katha, this topmost message that you have heard from Bhagavan Shuka. So you can see the excitement of Saunaka Rishi. And we must understand from this that Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very rare. At least for Saunaka Adi Rishis. For Saunak Rishi, he was so excited to hear, and he found the right person. There were so many sages in the assembly of Saunak Rishi, of Sukadeva Goswami, but it was very hard to find even one at that time who would be present before you, who can retell what he has heard. They found such a person, and now they are not going to let him go. You cannot go anywhere. We have captured you. Sit down, please tell us. We will not let you go till you tell us all the details. Like, I don't know, my father, like sometimes he used to go on a tour for 1 month. When he would come back, then, whole night we would sit and he would tell, I went here, I went there, I did this, I did that. So we all want to sit down and hear and, not take rest till you have told everything. So, but is that the excitement that we have today to hear Srimad Bhagavatam? Probably not. Why? Because one of the reasons is that because it is easily accessible. So when something is easily accessible, we lose its value. So familiarity breeds contempt, or you can say familiarity diminishes the value. So when something is easily accessible, we just, don't realize the value of it. So we take it for granted. But you can see, compare the excitement of Saunaka Adi Rishis here, how excited they were to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, God forbid, if the Bhagavatam is taken away from us, then we might realize its importance. So we must not let that happen. Let that not be the reason to generate our love for Srimad Bhagavatam. We should try to generate our love without it being inaccessible. While it is easily accessible, still we should spend time in Srimad Bhagavatam, in relishing Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So the main point was the excitement of Srimad Bhagavatam in Saunaka Rishi. Okay, then comes the third verse. Okay. So, please. So in this verse, in the previous verse, what was being said is that the excitement was being shown. Now some questions are being asked, specific questions. So let us see. Shalu Mataji, could you please read this one?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. In what period and at what place was this first begun, and why was this taken up? From where did Krishna Bhagavatam Vyasa, the great sage, get the inspiration to compile this literature?
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. So you can see here, Kasmin Yuge Pravritteyam Sthane Va Kena Hetunam. So, Kasmin Yuge, at what time? Then Sthane Va, at what place? Kena Hetuna, for what purpose? Hetu means purpose. Why was it spoken? And Kutaha Sanchoditaha Krishna Kritavan Samhitam Munihi. And Sanchoditaha means where did he get the inspiration? Krishna. And here this Krishna is referring to Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. So this is Krishna is being referred to as, or Vyasadeva is being referred to as Krishna here. Kritavan Samhita Munihi. So from this Muni word, we can understand that it is that Krishna is a Muni. So it's not Bhagavan Krishna, even though Bhagavan Krishna originally spoke it to Brahmaji. But here that Krishna, and it will get clarified in the next verse, you will see that. One can ask, okay, Krishna is not very clear that it is being referred to as Veda Vyasa, but I will clarify it. So how did he get the inspiration? Sanchoditaha, kutaha sanchoditaha? Kahan se unko mila? Kutaha? Krishna kritavan samhitam muni. So how did he get the inspiration to write this samhita, or this Vedic literature, Vedic Shastra called Srimad Bhagavatam? So you can see also here a circular reference. Vyasadeva is writing this. Vyasa Uvacha was the first line in the chapter, and he has written this, and then he is referring to himself, that because he is Saunak Rishi has asked that question. So these are the questions. Kasmin yuge sthane kena hetu and kutaha sanchoditaha. 4 questions are being asked. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. Now let us go to the next one. 4th. And tasya putro, unka putra. So who is the putra of tasya, of the previous person who was referred? So
Veda
assuming
Vyasa.
it is Vyasa, who is his putra?
Shukadeva.
Shukadeva. Very nice.
Sukadeva Goswami.
Sukadeva Goswami. So now it is more clear that Tasya Putro Mahayogi. So that person is a Mahayogi, whoever is his putra, which we know is Shukadev. His name has already been mentioned before. So his putra is Mahayogi. Samadrin. Samadrin means Samadriha Nirvikalpaha. So here he is being referred to, you will see here, as a Brahmavadi. So he is like a Srila Prabhupada uses the word monist here somewhere, monism, concentrated in monism. Oh, we didn't have anybody read it, we'll read it. So monist or a Brahmavadi, that everything is one, believing in Brahman or that Brahman realization. So I will come to that in just a second. And then we see Ekantamatir. Ekantamati means focused on the oneness of the whole creation. Everything that is spiritual and material is all composed of Brahman, that is Brahmavad. Unnidro Gudho Mudha Iveyate. So he was, completely absorbed in this Gudho, in this realization of the Brahman realization. Mudha Iveyate. So he was acting, Iveyate means he was appearing to be, or he was acting like Mudha. So he was acting like a fool. So many points to be discussed here. So first point is Tasya Putra. So we can see here, first of all, this is clearly referring to Sukadeva Goswami. Okay. And this verse is showing, like I said, somewhere I wrote down here, if you see, the greatness of Sukadeva Goswami. So that is the topic which is continuing. Later on, the topic of Parikshit Maharaj will come. So you can see here all these topics, all these verses will be showing the greatness of Sukadeva Goswami. So here, one of the points that is being made is that he is a Mahayogi. So that is the first point. Then the next point, Samadrih, Nirvikalpa, Ekantamatir, Unnidro Gudha. So many points are being mentioned about Sukadeva Goswami. So he was a complete monist, and he was situated in that self-realization of the Brahman, as everything is Brahman. So the story which we will get unpacked in the 7th chapter, right now we are in the 4th chapter, in the chapter Canto 1, chapter 7, the story of Sukadeva Goswami will little more be told in little more detail, that he was completely self-realized even before birth. And since he was not interested in material world, he didn't even want to come out of the womb of his mother. So when he was 16 years old, typically baby spends 9 months in the womb, but he spent 16 years because he didn't want to come out. Finally, he came out of the womb of his mother, says, okay, fine. And then he left his parents and went away. So imagine a newborn child just immediately on taking birth is completely detached from his parents and gives up his parents and leaves. So his parents, both Vyasadeva and his wife, became very sad, and Vyasadeva ran behind him to catch him. So we will see that in the next verse, saying, where are you going, my dear son? And later on, Vyasadeva, gets this idea how to attract him back. So he knows that Sukadeva Goswami is a self-realized person. He's not a Mayavadi. So those who have gone through Bhagavad Gita will know the difference between Mayavad and Brahmavad. So Brahmavadis are those who are situated in this oneness simply because they may not be either aware of Bhagavan, or they are aware of the superiority of Bhagavan, but they choose to stay in the Brahman realization because for some reason or the other, it appeals to them more. But they never disrespect the superiority or deny the superiority of the Bhagavan form. That is the key point of Brahmavadis that differentiates them from Mayavadis. Mayavadis consider Brahman to be superior, Bhagavan to be inferior. Bhagavan has as if some kind of a material contamination. So that is the problem with the Mayavadis. So again, he was a Brahmavadi, and he was such a Brahmavadi who did not know about the Bhagavan aspect. So Vyasadeva recites Srimad Bhagavatam to him. And as soon as he hears the Srimad Bhagavatam, he immediately becomes a pure devotee. He completely realizes the Bhagavan form and falls in love with the Bhagavan form, and then goes and repeats the Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So there is this beautiful verse called the Atmaram verse. It is in 1st Canto, 7th chapter, 10th verse, which shows that even a person who is fully self-realized in the Brahman realization, if he is truly a Brahmavadi of that nature, he will immediately get attracted to the Katha, the stories of Bhagavan, which is of the personal form. And he will no longer remain a Brahmavadi. So that is showing the beauty of the relishment, the rasa that is available in Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyway, so this is showing that he was a monist. And the other point is that this mudha iveyate, that he was acting like a fool. So there are two reasons for such people who are completely self-realized, whether in Brahman or in Bhagavan or any, in any way. Those who are completely self-realized, they may act like a fool. Act, and is the important part. So what could be two reasons? Anybody wants to think and share? Yes, Shamlila Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, they want to be left alone. Like they don't want other people to bother them with mundane gossip.
Yes.
Or
Correct. So in other words, they don't want to be disturbed. And very correct. So the first point is they don't want to be disturbed by a lot of ordinary people, because ordinary people get attracted. These pure devotees will have a glow around them. It's but natural. They will demonstrate very advanced symptoms, and it won't be hard for ordinary people to make out that he's some advanced person. So they will just go and bother them. Please give me some blessings. Give me, please bless me. That I should get some money or whatever, some material things. They don't want to get distracted by all these things. They want to be left alone. What could be a second reason?
They don't like acting like a jnani. They
Very
don't
nice.
want.
Yes, they are already very nice. So they, out of humility. Okay, because by being so advanced, the in a large group of people, it will be very obvious that they are the most advanced. It will be just obvious if they are to be their natural self. So if they have to, and they don't like to be perceived as that I am at the top. So they will act, or they will purposefully bring themselves down, and sometimes even commit some actions which will make people think that, oh, he's not as advanced as he appears to be in the first sight. So people will get some doubts in their mind. He's not so advanced. Okay, so sometimes they make mistakes, like they inject mistakes in some of their, whatever they are speaking. That's like acting dumb. You know the answer, but you are giving the wrong answer, and things like that, so that people don't think too highly of them and don't give them a lot of praise, etc., and kind of put doubts in people's mind. But those who are very serious seekers, they will not get affected by both of these. They will still go and take shelter of such pure devotees. So it takes some understanding of who is a pure devotee to find such a person, to realize and to take shelter, and not get doubts or not get fooled by their artificial, or the not artificial, I would say, but the sort of the garb of humility that they have put on for the purpose of not trying to be perceived as a very advanced devotee. So these are the two reasons. Okay, very nice. So did we read the translation? Not yet. So let us see. Inderpal Prabhu, would you like to read? Please unmute.
His son was a great devotee, an equivalent monist whose mind was always concentrated in monism. He was transcendental to mundane activities, but being unexposed, he appeared like an ignorant person.
Very nice. Thank you. So let us go ahead. So keep this in mind that he was acting to be ignorant. One of the questions that will come up later that the Saunaka Rishis, Saunaka, etc. Rishis will ask is that, wait a minute, if he is acting, or then nobody knows him because everybody thinks he's dumb, he's just an ordinary fellow. How it happened that Parikshit Maharaj and all these rishis, even Narad Muni and Devala and Asita and Vasishtha and all those rishis were present trying to find the right person to guide Parikshit Maharaj in his last 7 days. How did they all, and even the residents of Hastinapur, when they saw Parikshit Shukadeva Goswami, they all, how could they all realize that he's such a great personality when he was, acting like a mudha? So that will be a question that will come later, and it will be answered during the course of the chapter. Anyway, so 5th verse, this is a very important verse. And that shows the exalted position of Shukadeva Goswami. So we will start with it's a long verse. I don't recognize the meter of this yet. I have not done that sort of analysis, but let us see who is next. Chandan Prabhu, can you please read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji. While Sri Vyasadeva was following his son, beautiful young damsels who were bathing naked covered their bodies with cloth, although Sri Vyasadeva himself was not naked. But they had not done so when his son had passed. The sage inquired about this, and the young ladies replied that his son was purified, and when looking at them, made no distinction between male and female. But the sage made such distinctions.
Very nice. So a whole sort of a small episode is narrated in one verse. So I hope you all understood the episode that is happening. So remember, I told you, as soon as he was born, and he was, as we say, in his birthday suit. What is the birthday suit? No clothes. That's how everybody is born, right? So he started walking away, and he didn't have any clothes, and even he didn't put on any clothes. He was just avadhut, what is called. He doesn't care for like, oh, my body should be covered or uncovered, or no concept of feeling ashamed or anything like that. Everything is just completely, he's beyond all these things. So he started walking away. Of course, Vyasadeva had clothes on. And so he was chasing his son, trying to call him back. Now he was walking away, and he was walking near a lake or a river or something. And Sridhar Swami says, so there is this word Devyo, which means the Devis, which means some women were bathing in the river. And Sridhar Swami says these Devis are the Apsaras. So some Apsaras were bathing in the river, which means they could understand everybody's consciousness, that what is the consciousness within each person. So they were like advanced human or advanced beings who could see more than what I can see. I cannot tell what is everybody's consciousness, and you cannot tell what I'm seeing. We cannot read each other's consciousness, but they could read. So these Apsaras, or these advanced Devis, when they saw first who appeared, because he's walking, Shukadeva Goswami appeared, they kept bathing. And he is, what is the difference between Shukadeva Goswami and Vyasadeva? Now thinking of it purely in material terms, okay, Shukadeva Goswami is young, 16 years old and naked. And Vyasadeva is a very old man and clothed. So if a young and naked man is going by, the women will feel shy and kind of look away and, cover themselves and, try to say that I have nothing to do with this person. A civilized lady will do that. But they did not do that, these civilized ladies. But even though when an old man was passing, then next Vyasadeva passed, and he was having full clothes. So there is, nothing wrong there. It was a totally civilized situation. They felt shy just because he was a man and they were bathing. So Vyasadeva was very perplexed on this kind of behavior, on this reaction of these women. And he asked them that, a very young boy who was naked was passing by and you didn't feel any, you didn't feel shy or anything. They said, because they could see the consciousness, they said that that person is fully self-realized. He doesn't make any distinction between on a bodily basis, young or old, man or woman, clothed or not clothed. You, even though you are old, you have little bit distinction of at a bodily level. And what is the main distinction that he was showing right now? At a bodily level, my son. It is a bodily connection, my son. And he's running behind his son. So he is showing this bodily connection. He is not at a completely self-realized level, at least in that moment. Vyasadeva is an incarnation of Bhagavan, so he's completely self-realized. But in that moment, he was not displaying that. And that is the point that was being made. And the point here being made is not to downplay the position of Vyasadeva, but to show the exalted position of Shukadeva. That is the point being made. So don't think that Vyasadeva is small. In this verse, what you should get is this: the exalted position of Shukadeva. That is the point to get. But yes, a relative position of Vyasadeva is also being shown here. So what we should understand from this, that according to this verse, Sukadeva Goswami's position is much greater even than Vyasadeva's position. Everybody understands how great Vyasadeva is. But from this verse, we understand Sukadeva Goswami is at another higher level, at the next level. So again, it is showing such an exalted position of Sukadeva Goswami. So please try to understand this. All right. Then we go to 6th verse. So what is this verse saying? Let us read the translation. So next we will have Sankalp Prabhu. Could you please read?
How was he, Srila Sukadeva, the son of Vyasa, recognized by the citizens when he entered the city of Hastinapura, now Delhi, after wandering in the provinces of Kuru and Jangala, appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded?
Yeah. So this is what I was just mentioning earlier, that if he was acting so dumb and retarded, here Srila Prabhupada is saying appearing like a madman, dumb and retarded. So how could the residents of Hastinapur recognize him, that he is such a great personality? So that is the question being asked. Then in the next verse, so we'll move forward to the next verse. The next verse is showing that how did Parikshit Maharaj realize his position, and what led to the events of speaking of this great Shastra called Srimad Bhagavatam. So next, number 7 translation. Shambhavi Mataji, please read.
How did it so happen that King Parikshit met this great sage, making it possible for this great transcendental essence of the Vedas, Bhagavatam, to be sung to him?
Very nice. So, how did Parikshit Maharaj meet this great sage? So this question will be answered at the very end of the first canto. In the last chapter, we will see how Parikshit Maharaj meets Shukadeva Goswami. And many important points to be taken away from here. So let's read this. I'll read this verse. Katham va pandaveyasya rajarshi muninasaha samvadaha sambhuta tata yatraisha satvati srutih. So many important points to be captured here. So first of all, we need to understand that this pandaveyasya means the who is coming from the Pandavas, the descendant of the Pandavas, or descendant of Pandu, the king Pandu, Pandavas, and then further his descendant, Abhimanyu and Parikshit. So this is referring to Parikshit. Raj Rishi. So Parikshit was a Raj Rishi. Raj Rishi means a saintly king. Raj means, Raja means just a king. Rishi means just a saintly person. When we join them, it becomes Raj Rishi. And it means a very, very qualified, spiritually qualified king, like Yudhishthir Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, and of course, Lord Ram is, he's Supreme Lord himself. So, but we cannot say he's next, he's totally different level. So, but this means saintly king, Raj Rishi. Okay. And so, how did they recognize Parikshit Maharaj? Munina Saha. Along with the Munis, there were so many Munis gathered. We will see in the 19th chapter when we get there. And then the next thing is that Samvadaha. So this whole Srimad Bhagavatam is a Samvad. So we don't have time to go into the details of the word Samvad, but there are many types of conversations. That there is Samvad. At the topmost level, the best kind of conversation is a Samvad. Then we have Vad. And then we have
Vivad.
Vivad. Yes.
Vivad.
And then we have
Vitandava.
Last. Then we have Jalpa or Prajalpa. And then we have Vitanda. So this is sort of a degrading level of conversations. So the topmost, we won't go into the details, but the topmost conversation is Samvad. So even in Bhagavad Gita, Sanjaya says, I heard this wonderful Adbhut Samvad, he calls, towards the end in the 18th chapter. So here also, this is a Adbhut Samvad, or this Srimad Bhagavatam is a Samvad between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadeva Goswami. Okay. And another point that is very important is that out of which emerged this Satvati Srutih. So, Satvati Srutih. So, let me see if I noted this down as to which commentary I got it from. I didn't write down from which particular commentary, but we see here that, so we have already seen that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of the Vedas. So many places we have seen. Anybody remembers one or two places like that? So at one place it says Sarva Vedanta Saram. It is the essence of all the Vedas. Then and that is in the 12th canto. But in the first canto itself, first chapter, 3rd verse, how does it start? Anybody remembers? Nigama kalpa taror galitam phalam. So it is the galitam phalam, gala hua. Galitam means gala hua phal. Gala hua means doesn't mean decayed. That's what we understand as galitam gala. It means the juicy, it's just like the juice is dripping from the fruit. So that kind of essence or the juice it is of what? Nigama kalpataror. So Nigama is the Nigama are the Vedas. And there is another type of Shastras. So the Nigama Shastra are the Vedas, and Agama Shastras are the Tantra Shastras. So Nigama Kalpa Taror Galitam Phalam. It is the juice, it is the essence of the Vedas. So from here, we again see it is the Satvati Srutih. It is the essence of the Shruti, and the Shruti is mainly the Vedas. So again, I didn't write down some people say that Vedas are for intelligent people, and the Puranas are for less intelligent people. That may be true for some of the Puranas, possibly. But Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for the most intelligent people. When we say most intelligent, doesn't mean you have to be your IQ level. Intelligence means here those who recognize that Srimad Bhagavatam is the best. That is the intelligence level. Okay? Like if you are drowning, if you know swimming, you are intelligent. If you don't know swimming, you may be a big professor. If you are drowning, your professorship will not come and help you. You need to know swimming at that point. That is what will save you from drowning. That is called intelligent. So in this context, intelligence means those who can realize that if I understand Srimad Bhagavatam, my life will be successful. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost Shruti, is the best kind of Shruti. Among even the Vedas, it is the topmost. So that's why all the Vaishnavas, they focus on Srimad Bhagavatam. Have you ever seen anywhere we are focusing on reading the Vedas? No. So that is the understanding of this verse. Okay. Next, 8th verse. So let us read the translation of this verse. So who is next? Meera Mataji, please read. Meera Srini Mataji.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji, thank you. King Sukadeva Goswami was accustomed to stay at the door of a householder only long enough for a cow to be milked, and he did this just to sanctify the residence.
Very nice.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So here in this verse, we can see how a normal person can understand the superior nature of a devotee like Shukadeva Goswami. So every person who is in the material world needs to eat to sustain his body. So they go and beg from only, first of all, a few houses, whatever that is known as Madhukari. Whatever they get, they will just sustain on that. If they get nothing, they take it as Lord's will. That Lord wants me to fast today. If they get too much, they will donate it to other living entities. So this is how they live. And it's not like they are waiting for a long time at every house till they get something. They are not trying to, like Ravan, when he went and kidnapped Mother Sita, he said, I'm not going to leave till you give me some bhiksha. Not like that. That means there is some ulterior motive. So here we see, Sa go dohana matram hi, go dohan, gai ko duhne, dohan means dohna, to milk the cow. How long it takes to milk the cow? I don't know if you have seen cow being milked. I have seen in India, maybe, 15 minutes or something it takes to milk, one bucket of milk, one full bucket of milk from a cow. So they stay for a very short time at any one place. That is how one can recognize they are, and plus in that much time, they are only giving. They are not, we think they have come here to beg. Beg means to get. Whatever they get, much, much more than that, they give back. So whoever is, the owner of the whichever house they have gone to beg from, they give a lot of spiritual instruction if that person is interested. So that is the nature of a devotee. So from this we can understand he is not coming here for his own sense gratification, material sense gratification. He is coming here to give me liberation from material sense gratification. He is coming here to give me something beyond material sense gratification, which is spiritual knowledge. So so my question is, look at this translation again. And one of the points that is being made here is that Shukadeva Goswami is such an advanced devotee. Another point is being made here. Why is it being said here that he only waits for very minimal time at every house and then moves on? How do you think this is relevant in the given context? Anybody has any ideas?
Only Sangatyagot Satovritte. Sangatyagat Satovritte.
How is that relevant?
Not involved with grihasthas for a long time.
Yeah, but why? Or why is that relevant in this? That is answered already. We said, they are just not interested in the material affairs. Shamlila Mataji, I see you have raised your hand.
Yes, Prabhuji. He stayed and explained Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj for that entire 1 week. So that is a very long period for him. That also explains that Parikshit Maharaj's greatness also in his eyes.
Very nice. Excellent. Did you come up with this or had you read this before?
No, Prabhuji, you had spoken about this in one of the classes.
Oh, is it? I see. So, yeah, we see here a very, very important point that such a person who doesn't stay at one place for more than 10 minutes, compare 10 minutes versus 7 days. And he sat there for 7 days, day and night, and spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam. So it tells us the greatness of two aspects. One is that of Parikshit Maharaj. So he says, Griheshu Griha Medhinam. Griha Medhi. Griha Medhi means what? One who is, so Sad Go Dohana Matram Hi Griheshu Griha Medhinam. That the great saints don't stay at the houses at the Griha of Griha Medhi. Griha Medhi means one who's too attached to their household affairs or too attached to I and mine, Mam, Aham, my house, my this, my that. So the advanced devotees don't like to stay much at such people's place. But it does not mean that they don't like to stay at one place if that person whose house it is also a great devotee. So it is showing the greatness of Parikshit Maharaj here, that he stayed there for 7 days because he gets to talk to a wonderful devotee like Parikshit Maharaj. He is not a Grihamedhi. And in the next verse, one of the subsequent verses, we will see how he completely gave up the kingdom and everything in just an instant. The moment he heard he has been cursed, he said, okay, I'm done. He gave his kingdom to his son Janmejaya and said, I'm going. No, not even one blink of an eye he wasted in thinking that what else can I do to save myself. And the second thing it shows is the greatness of Srimad Bhagavatam. That to speak Srimad Bhagavatam, they can stay for any amount of time. Okay, so one who is interested, a devotee who is interested in Srimad Bhagavatam, the great saints, the great devotees will spend as much time as needed to share this wonderful message. All right. And here we see here, Tirthi Kurvamsa Tad Ashramam. So wherever they go, they convert it into a Tirtha. Okay, so they are not coming there to get something, but they are going to various places to convert those places into Tirthasthan, to holy places. Okay, did we read this translation already? I don't remember.
Yes.
I read, Prabhuji.
All right. So let's go to 9th verse. Now, from 9 to 12. So this was about the greatness of Shukadeva Goswami. Okay, now comes the greatness of 4 verses, 9, 10, 11, 12. Greatness of Parikshit Maharaj. So let us read this translation. Other Meera Mataji, kindly read this.
It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord, and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him.
Very nice. Thank you. So here we are seeing that it is referring to Parikshit Maharaj. How we see that? Abhimanyu Sutam. It's a very direct reference. Suta means son. Who is the son of Abhimanyu? Parikshit. So Abhimanyu Sutam Sūta, my dear Sūta Goswami. So Saunaka Rishis are saying, my dear Sūta Goswami. Prahur Bhagavata Uttamam. Please tell us about the Tasya Janma Maha Ashcharyam Karmani Cha Grihani Naha. So please tell us about the great activities of Abhimanyu Sutam, which is Parikshit Maharaj, who is Bhagavata Uttam. He is a Uttam Bhagavat. So here we see the greatness of Parikshit Maharaj being described. All right. Okay. 10th. So kindly, let's see. Next, Rahul Prabhu, kindly read.
Hare Krishna. He was a great emperor and possessed all the opulences of his acquired kingdom. He was so exalted that he was increasing the prestige of the Pandu dynasty. Why did he give up everything to sit down on the bank of the Ganges and fast until death?
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhuji. Here, it is what is being shown here, and we will see a very, very important point. That why? Sa Samrat Kasya Va Hetu. Hetu means for what purpose? The Samrat, which is Parikshit Maharaj, he's already been called as Raj Rishi. So such a great king, why did he sit down? And of course, because he had been cursed. But why did he sit down and fast until death? So the meaning here is that could he have not done something about the curse? Why did he just, accept the curse as it is? Why did he not? So now let me ask you a thought question. Knowing that Parikshit Maharaj is a Raj Rishi, is a very advanced devotee, not only is a king, mostly the kings are materialistic, sense gratification oriented and all. That's the general nature of when you have a lot of fame, name, money, power, you become a sense gratifier. But he was not like that. So we understand he's a great devotee and he accepted the curse out of humility. He didn't want to counter react and all that. What could be a valid reason for him to not to do something else? Can anybody tell?
To honor the will of Paramatma.
Huh? Go ahead. Say again.
To honor the will of Paramatma.
Yeah, that is why he fasted and he agreed to give up his body. My point is, what else could he have done staying in the mode of a devotee, which would have still upheld his consciousness as a Raj Rishi? What else could he have thought which would not have been like, oh, I shouldn't die? Anything comes to mind? Is the question clear? Maybe I'm not...
Yeah, Prabhuji, this is Nitin here. So he could have taken, some kind of tapasya for some god, Shiva or Vishnu, asking for help. to save him, like Gajendra and some other.
My question is, with what consciousness or what would be the thought process in his mind? What purpose would he have in mind to live longer?
Purpose could be to stop the advent of Kali Yuga, that he may have tried to stop spread of Kali Yuga, because he is much more capable in stopping that. And
very nice, very nice. So the answer in short is for the spiritual welfare of the people. Isn't it? That's a very noble cause. That for the spiritual welfare of the people. He already knew that he is a saintly king, and there is, of course, he's very humble and he doesn't want to declare himself as a saintly king or anything like that. But he knows that as long as he is there, he can use his time and his body and his life for the welfare of the people. So why would he not have chosen that, or with that consciousness, why couldn't he have done something that, okay, if I live longer, I can try to do the welfare of my citizens. Therefore, please, Bhagavan or whoever, let me try to mitigate this curse. Let me not die in 7 days. Let me do something about it, so that I can use the rest of my life, the second chance, like Ajamil got second chance. So to use the remaining part of my life, if I get to live longer, for the welfare of the people. That would be a very valid reason, but he did not choose that. And this is what I mentioned in the beginning of the class about pravachan. So we must use our life. Please pay very careful attention. And we will cover this probably. I'm covering the topic of some future text here, 12th text. We must spend a good portion of our life for the welfare of others. But there comes a point in time where we must then focus on exclusively our own bhakti, our own full absorption. Okay? And otherwise that will never happen. So we must fully, and it could be before the welfare of others or after. In Parikshit Maharaj's case, it happened after. He was such a saintly king, but these 7 days, he was completely absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Completely absorbed. Now 7 days for him is enough. For us, we cannot depend on last 7 days. And in those 7 days, he was very healthy. He had full attention and everything. In our last 7 days, who knows what will be our condition? What if we are in a coma or whatever may be the situation? So the point is, we must not wait to be cursed. We must actively spend some portion of our life in our personal absorption. Personal absorption in Krishna Bhakti. This is very, very, very important. And he thought, okay, I'm getting this opportunity. It's like a 7-day, in academic circles or even in companies, they call it a sabbatical. Okay, you go and, do whatever you want. So he was like getting a 7-day exclusive sabbatical. And it doesn't matter that he would leave his body after those 7 days, but he took that opportunity for those 7 days to completely absorb himself. And he found such a good teacher as well. Why would he give up that opportunity? So that is the point to be understood from this, or that's the answer to this verse. But I'm just sharing this with you. Okay. Text number 11. We'll go on for 10 more minutes and then we should end. So 11, 12, and 13. So text 11. Kindly, did we read the previous translation? I think so. Which one did you read, Rahul Prabhu? Or anyway, it's okay. So we are supposed to read 12 now?
11.
Oh, 11. Okay, let us see. Then we have Renuka Mataji. Kindly read.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Hmm.
Hare Krishna. He was such a great emperor that all his enemies would come and bow down at his feet and surrender all their wealth for their own benefit. He was full of youth and strength, and he possessed kindly opulence that were difficult to give up. Why did he want to give up everything, including his life? Hare Krishna.
Kingly opulence. He had so much opulence. So much opulence. Why did he want to give it up? Okay. So we discussed mainly all these points. Number 12. Okay. Saujanya Mataji, can you please read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Those who are devoted to the cause of the personality of Godhead live only for the welfare, development, and happiness of others. They do not live for any selfish interest. So even though the Emperor Parīkṣit was free from all attachment to worldly possessions, how could he give up his mortal body, which was the shelter for others?
Now you see. Now they're asking the real question. Hey, he could have used his body, his life to give shelter to others. So that's why I asked that question earlier without to kind of prompt you to think that what could be a possible reason. So, here is the sort of, we get from this question, we get an answer that if he lived longer, there would have been welfare of larger number of people with his longer life, that he could have affected more people in his kingdom. So why he did not do that? Okay, so we have to realize now in Srila Prabhupada's case, we can see he was, affecting the lives. Affecting means like very spiritually affecting or spiritually uplifting the lives of so many people right until his death. So one can ask, when was the absorption? Same thing in the case of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They had done their absorption before. It's like, the most important things, you get up in the morning and do it first, like your japa and your sadhana. Don't keep it till like 10 o'clock in the night. Otherwise, it becomes a drag. So whatever is most important, they did it before itself. Srila Prabhupada spent 6 years in Vrindavan just writing Srimad Bhagavatam commentaries. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur for 10 years, he did nothing but chant the holy name. Exclusively, he did nothing. Just for 10 years, he completely absorbed himself in their personal absorption of chanting the holy name, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and so on. So you must, it's not like, oh, we see how, I have been asked this question. Oh, we see Srila Prabhupada, he was like doing all this till the end of his life. Wait a minute, it's like saying, oh, I'm doing all the other things in my day. When do I do the chanting? Do it in the morning. Get it done. Why you have to keep it till late in the night? Same thing, our personal absorption should be very, 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 we should focus in some part of some time in our life. Sooner the better. We don't know when will be our last day. So that is the point to be made here. 13th verse, very important verse. This also has a very, very, very important message. Okay. So we will go through the detail here, but let us see. Kiruba Prabhu, kindly read.
Hare Krishna. We know that you are expert in the meaning of all subjects, except some portions of the Vedas, and thus you can clearly explain the answers to all the questions we have just put to you.
Very nice. Thank you. So who is saying this, Kiruba Prabhu? Who spoke this verse?
Saunak.
Saunak Rishi, yes, that's what we said, right? In the beginning, Saunak Rishi, this is the last verse. Next verse, if you see, you will see Sutta Uvacha. So he will start speaking, right? So Saunak Rishi is speaking this verse. And then to whom is he speaking, Kiruba Prabhu? To whom is this verse being spoken? By Saunak Rishi, to whom? To Sūta Goswami, isn't it? This conversation right now is happening between Saunak Rishi and Sūta Goswami. So this verse is being addressed to Sūta Goswami, isn't it? So my question to everyone is, anything strange you see here?
Except some portions of the Vedas.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody agrees with that? Or how many of you have that question? Why this thing is mentioned here? Except some portion of the Vedas.
Because he is a brahmachari.
No, I didn't answer the answer, but that's not the right answer either. My question is, does this appear strange?
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
It does.
If you are asking about spiritual knowledge, then better ask everything. Why you have to restrict it, and especially except for some portion of the Vedas. So there's a very...
Maybe it's referring to karma kanda, which is not relevant.
Belittling also. It is belittling also to Sūta Goswami. Kind of.
Why it is belittling?
Because you are telling that you are expert, but you don't know a few things. So this kind of...
So that is the problematic part. Now I'm in the solution part. Why do you think this is the case? Why they said this?
Maybe the...
And Mataji said because he's a brahmachari. That's not the right answer. Then Chandan Prabhu said that because Vedas talk mainly about karma kanda, and they don't want to listen about karma kanda, they want to listen about bhakti. That is a potentially possible answer. So anybody else? Yes, Shamlila Mataji?
Prabhuji, probably because he did not study it formally in a Gurukul. Like when he was 16, he came out and he walked into the forest straight. So there was no formal education in Vedas.
No. This question is being asked to Sūta Goswami.
Right.
Sukadeva Goswami is not in the picture here. Do you follow?
Yes, Prabhuji.
What you are telling is about Shukadeva Goswami. Sūta Goswami had a normal birth. He did not stay in the womb for 16 years. Any other guess? It's hard to guess unless you know the history. But it is a very beautiful answer. And I found it only in the commentary of Sridhar Swami. Very clearly he gives. So please listen to this. I fell off my chair when I read this. So Sridhar Swami, he is the authority on Srimad Bhagavatam. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that he is the authority on Srimad Bhagavatam. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila 7.133. We can see that verse actually. Let me open that. Let me show you this verse to establish the authority of Sridhar Swami. Yes, Shamlila Mataji, you have a point or something? Or
no, Prabhuji. Sorry, is it still up? Sorry.
So let us look at 133rd verse. Anyway, so yes, Shamlila Mataji, can you read this verse?
Yes, Prabhuji. Sridhar Swami is the spiritual master of the entire...
आप पहले बंगाली पढ़िए पहले.
अच्छा. Sridhar Swami prasade bhagavat jani, jagat guru Sridhar Swami guru kari mani.
Now read the translation.
Sridhar Swami is the spiritual master of the entire world because by his mercy we can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. I therefore accept him as a spiritual master.
This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying this, not anybody else. That Sridhar Swami prasade, how to highlight? Bhagavat Jani. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, by the mercy of Sridhar Swami, I am able to understand Bhagavatam. Krishna is saying that himself. And Jagat Guru Sridhar Swami, how to highlight? Anyway, you can get it. Jagat Guru Sridhar Swami, Guru Karimani. I accept him as my Guru. So that is the position of Sridhar Swami. So Sridhar Swami writes in his commentary this word a trayi varnika vat about Sūta Goswami. A trayi varnika means he is not from the top three varnas. What are the top three varnas?
Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya.
Very nice. So which means what is the varna of Sūta Goswami?
Shudra.
Shudra. I did not know that.
I was about to tell that.
So he is a Shudra by birth, by material birth. So he did not go to a formal. That's when Shyamlila Mataji started saying formal. I thought, she's on the right track, but then it appeared that she was referring to Sukadeva Goswami. So he did not also get any formal education of the Vedas, and especially, and if you read Srila Prabhupada's purport, you will see mainly it refers to the chanting in the various meters, chandas and etc. and all that. That's what they teach in a Vedic sort of a Gurukul to the Brahman boys. So Sūta Goswami is of a lower material birth. But those 88,000 rishis who are sitting there to listen to him, they are all Brahmanas. And what have they done to Sūta Goswami? They have taken him and put him on the pedestal. You please sit on top. We will sit down and we will listen from you. So the point here is this varna is completely useless. Material varna by birth. And here is such a wonderful example that so many rishis who are Brahmanas by birth are respecting a Shudra because it doesn't matter by birth who you are. What matters is your bhakti and your understanding of bhakti, which Sūta Goswami has a perfect understanding of it because of who he is, and he understood it from a perfect teacher who is Sukadeva Goswami. So he is just full of rich understanding of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and there is no better teacher for them than Sūta Goswami. So that is the understanding that we get from this verse. Imagine 88,000 Brahmanas hearing from a Shudra. My God, when I understood this, my mind was blown away. It is such a pointed example of that it doesn't matter. Another example is Vidurji. He was the son of maidservant. But he is considered to be such a great devotee. Lord Krishna went to his house. So it does not matter by material birth at all. And here is another beautiful example of this part. So
Prabhuji, Vyasadeva mother herself is from fisherman community.
Yes. But he is a Brahmana, so therefore we accept Sukadeva Goswami as a Brahmana. Okay. Chandan Prabhu, you had your hand up?
I think you sort of answered it, Prabhuji. That technically means he isn't a Shudra, right? He is potentially a Brahmana.
Yeah, exactly. But he did not go to a Gurukul school to learn the chanting of the mantras and all those things, that formal education. Another important point, yes. So here is another important point to get. That typically one who is born in a lower family or a Shudra family, it is because of one's past karma that you get your current birth in a particular type of family, so that your consciousness develops forward in that kind of family. In Bhagavad Gita, last few chapters, 6.41 to 45, we see this, that those who are devotees in this life, but they could not complete their spiritual journey. Next life, they get a birth in the house of devotees. They get a good life. So there is a connection of karma, and it does affect the family or the varna that you get birth in the next life. That is true. Sometime or the other, a great person could be born in a lower family. And that is also by the arrangement of the Lord. But those who are spiritually advanced, they honor this system. This system has been set up that, okay, Brahmanas will chant the mantras or whatever may be the case. They don't want to disrupt the society or the societal arrangement, which we see now, which is happening so much. All this thing that, everybody is equal. Even in meritocracy, we don't agree that everybody is equal. Some people get a promotion and some people are, demoted. How is everybody equal? Even today's corporate culture doesn't agree that everybody is equal. If everybody is equal, why doesn't everybody get the same raise? Why does some people get higher raise and some people get lower pay? So, there is an aspect of meritocracy that is known as guna and karma. So the point is that these people, even though they may have a lower birth, they don't want to disrupt the societal system. So Sūta Goswami didn't go and demand, why am I not being admitted to Gurukul? They know that, ability to chant the mantras or these things is not very important. What is important is my absorption in bhakti that I can get even without going to a proper school. So they make their spiritual advancement. At the same time, they don't disturb the system. So that is the point to be understood here. Okay. But the most important learning from this is that the Saunak Rishis, they accepted Sūta Goswami even though they knew about his. That's why he's saying, don't worry about the portions that you haven't learned. We know that you haven't learned it. Don't worry about it. We are not interested in that. What we are interested in is what you have understood Srimad Bhagavatam, because that is the topmost. Please give it to us. So you can see the mood of the Saunak Rishis is also perfect, and their the fact that they are putting Sūta Goswami at such a high position is also perfect. All right. Okay, wonderful. So any other questions? Otherwise, we will stop here. Next Friday we have or not? Okay, so we will end here. Any comments or questions so far? All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your absorption in Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you so much for your serious study of Srimad Bhagavatam and your interest. Thank you very much. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Krishna
you.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Tomorrow, no
Prabhuji.
Bhakti Shastri class, right?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Tomorrow we have visiting devotee in Portland, so no Bhakti
Okay.
Shastri class.
Okay.
I will send a
Hare
message.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, yeah. No, we already received, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I'm leaving on 30th.